Welcome back on Dynamod. Today I want to propose you a video about
the unboxing review about Space Hulk. That it's a really amazing box that I completely love. This set has been reprinted many times along the years, and so I bring you one of my first boxes. It's in Italian because it was my first language, so I decided to bring the one that I had. Anyway, I show you also some differences that you can find inside this box. So now we go to see about this box around and then to go to see the contents. There are the miniatures here, and here we can see that there are some missing miniatures because some of them are yet built, and some others that are the Tiranids, called the blue are usually for the Tiranids, are yet painted. About the painting, I'll bring you a specific video about how to paint it in the Leviathan one, so that you can see my scheme of color about this I can say really bad swarm of the Tyranid. And so here we can find these ones are the ones that keep the doors and so on about the game itself. Here we have the chalice that it's amazing, and here we can find all the other Tyranids. So here we can find that there are quite a lot of these that are really quite interesting. It's a bit problematic to build them because the 25mm ones bases are a bit problematic to make them used for these models. Anyway, if you go to use 32mm ones for these Generaptors or others, it's really quite interesting because it allows you to have quite a lot of interesting base and models that you can personalize in a lot of different ways. Eventually you can make some try eventually removing the Generaptor from the bases and rebasing them. So eventually think about this. I really love this model that it's the Generaptor Chief, I can say. So this is the Generaptor Prime, and I love such model. It's something that I completely adore. It's a position and so on that made me really desire these so much that I have 3 of these. So I want to modify and personalize them in a lot of different ways. Even if I'm not playing a Tyranid army, I think that it will be quite soon available a Generaptor army in my side. So now we can move and continue to see the other parts. And here we have the Terminators. Here it's really quite amazing. I love the details are all related about the Blood Angels, and when there's been released this set box, it was something really amazing because it was not available at that time, the new box about the Blood Angels Terminators, so it was not something really quite personalizable eventually. So it's something that it's completely crazy as thing. I love such one. It's something that it's really amazing. I love such models. Are a lot of detail inside them. They are really quite amazing. And we have this that it's important, but we have also this that it's Calistarius. Do you remember Mephiston? This is Mephiston before it becomes Mephiston itself. So when its name it was Calistarius. So here we can find this model that it's simply majestic. I love such a model. It's something really completely amazing. And here we have the other parts, because we have this little robot that it can be interesting eventually as marker objective or something else if you want to play in Warhammer, eventually a 40k. And here we have a weapon that it's coming from the other set, so it's really something completely amazing. Here we have the hourglass that it's important because with this one we calculate the time of your turn, because the turn is not something that you can make as much as you want, but you have a timing clocking, click, 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 click. So it's really quite interesting about this one, and it's something to remember. Obviously we have also the dice, and they are really quite amazing dice. I like such theme for the dice because they are really quite good looking, I think, so quite nice. Then here we have these that are the book of the rules and the book of the missions, so the battle plans that you can use. I'll go to see about this because I'll compare quite soon this with the other of I can say next versions of such game, so that you can see that has been developed quite a lot such game, and I really like it. So we put this aside and see it a bit later better. And then here we have all the markers and all the plates that are composing it, and we have also these ones that are used to keep everything in order, because otherwise once that you're done, and I'll make you see also, you see that there are quite a lot of things to remember and to put away, because otherwise it's a bit problematic. Anyway, it's something that it's completely amazing and I really like. So now we can go to see about the books that I said to you before, and then also about a better sight about the contents that are to see about such game. And now we go to see the rule book before. About the rulebook, we can find that it's quite precise, so that we can see also some example of how we can do the things. And I really like, because we have the painted miniatures and we have the description on how to build it, but also how we can assemble everything, so that we can know for sure which part it's referred about which role and so on. And here it has been quite good how you had to do, so how you had to do the rules, how to do and give the orders to the models, and the different phases that you have along the game. So I think that it's really quite nice, because it explains you really quite clearly how you had to behave when you go to play and so on, and it uses also the models to represent it, and I really like it because it's completely clear about how you have to make the things. So I really like how it's done, and I think that it's something that it's really something that I'd like that you would have used also later about a lot of games. Okay, lately it has done like this, but anyway it's something that it's really quite amazing, and anyway it has been quite good all the things that are inside such game, and sincerely I like how it has been done such a thing. So this is really quite an amazing rulebook. It's applicable only to Space Hulk, but sincerely if you're going to play such game as a board game, it's really quite valid one, so remember about such amazing thing. And here I make you see two different booklets, because I have the first one that it's in Italian, that it's the oldest, and the most recent one that it's the English version. This has had the change about the cover itself, that it's the same but with different effects. It's not a problem about the language, it's something that I want to show you about the contents, because it's been developed, as I said you before, the contents about such missions. And so I wanted to make you see how much has been developed such thing, because I think that it's really quite interesting about. Thing that we can notice, it's the material, that it's a bit cheaper here and a bit better in the newer one. And here we can find the base about such mission, that it's Secoris, so it gives you the background about such thing. Here there is the amazing design. I love such image, it's something quite awesome, and I simply think that it's something worth of it, so the much that you can use eventually as a poster, because it's something amazing. And then we have here that it's how we can make the things, because we have that it's the reason about what happened, because we have here the reason about the assault to the space shift. So now we can see about this, because there is a book, specific one, about such background, that it's Sin of Damnation. This is a book that I really liked to find, because it was something that it was specific, and I love the models about specific, so I wanted to have the background about this expedition so much. But anyway, this specific one, it's a bit of problem to find eventually. So if you're interested about such book but you can't find it, I suggest you to buy this, that it's Sons of Sanguinius. Inside here, the Sons of Sanguinius, there is also Sin of Damnation. So if you're interested, you can find also the other contents that are inside such book, so Sons of Sanguinius, in the description, because I made an unboxing about this, and so you can find there what are the contents inside. Anyway, I think that it's quite interesting in that way, because it can be quite useful. And then we can move and see what are the parts about the game, so the missions. So we can start with the mission briefing, and you can yet see from here that what is the first mission here, it's the second here. So you can see that there is yet a discrepancy about the order of the missions themselves. Anyway, if we flip, we can find that the first mission is Suicide, but here the first mission is not Suicide, that it's the second, but Betrayed. So you can see that there is a bit of problems eventually. And eventually, if you have some problems to understand if it's really like it, if you go to see the second, you can find that these parts are the same as these. About the blocks that are composing this eventually reconstruction of the different part of the space hulk itself, you have to remember that are the same. There are only some change for some pieces eventually. So if you don't have it but you want to represent it, you can print it, or eventually try to use as an alternative. You don't have to worry too much. The only problem you could have if you go, for example, to see if you have the choice about choosing such materials, so the booklet and eventually the pieces that are, you can see a bit later about these steps inside, and so you can go to see if you can be interested in having them. So it's how you decide. For example, here we can move, we have the rescue. As you can see, are the same, the ones that are the same title mission. So I like to see how has been developed the game along the different publishing about releasing about such box, because even if it has been declared to be a one time, anyway I want to remember you that has been released multiple times. The miniatures are always the same, luckily maybe, or unlucky, it's you, because I like such models. I think that it's lucky because I love the mod inside, as I made you see. And so, as you can see, we have a lot of different options available. For example, here, that it will be the artifact, we have Into the Depth. So we have another option eventually to think about. So it can be quite interesting. As you can see, we have yet 2 new missions compared to before to see. And I think that it can be quite nice. Sincerely, about the style, I prefer the newer one because it's a bit better to read about this. And as you can see, we have a lot of different options available to play. So we have really a sort of campaign to play with, and I think that in such a way can be something completely interesting, because it makes you understand. For example, here we should have the defense, and instead we have the hard vacuum, so we have another again mission. So I think that it's quite interesting that way. And really another one here, and finally we have defend. So as you can see, we have a lot of different type of missions available, and I think really that it's something to employ, because I like how much has been done, the work about it. There's also some publishing in some way about other missions eventually, but it's not something completely important. The main part about this game are the missions, and eventually you can reconstruct your own ones. So really, you have a lot of options to pay attention with. And while we have 12 missions available about this, as you can see, here we have 16 missions, so we have 4 more missions here available. So I think that can be quite interesting that way. And then we have a bit of background, because okay, you have to remember that this is also a way to introduce such one. And there is also the background about the Space Marines and the background about the Blood Angels, because we need a bit of background about them, and also about the weapons and the parts. So it's a way to introduce such game to also players that doesn't know about such background. And I think that it's quite interesting, because it's a way to make it known, and it's a way to make it also a way to make better. And we can also see the background, specific one, about the various models that are inside. So each of such models, such Terminator of such companies, it's with its description. And I love such one, because it makes you really understand how it can be really made available, so that you can really understand how it behaves and so on. And so I think that can be really quite amazing to understand better how you are working for. So I really like such way. And here we can find about the different models associated to the different names, so that you can go to see about such names associated to the different characters, and so have a better understanding of them. And I love them. Remember that in a way you can modify them, you can personalize them, and I done a lot about them in a future video about the Terminators, and make you see what I done about the Terminators. I think that it can be really quite amazing to combine with different sets to gain something completely new. So it's really quite amazing as box. So now we go to see the last part about such video for the contents, and then made our assumptions about. So let's continue. And here we can see the contents separated, because I haven't bought one box of Space Hulk, but more than one. So I have more than one of these, and so I can use some of these to make some modifying, or to combine to create a bigger set eventually. So we can find that there are a lot. I like the details that there are inside. Here you can find a lot of damage of things. There are really quite markers and so on. There are a lot of things that are really quite interesting. And I love, because as you can see, it's done with really solid one, and the details are really quite amazing, really. And you have a lot of options inside, and really these things that I showed you before are really quite useful to take everything in order. And so you can find a lot of things that you can use to your own usage. So you can think that if you are able to find such box, because the miniatures eventually these ones can be used to create a sort of environment. So you can, if you don't use to play the game, to use for everything else, because it's really quite amazing in the way that you can personalize, you can create your own field or a part of it, because it can be quite amazing one. So eventually think about gain a lot from this, because each part of this can be quite amazing, and you have a lot of ways to make everything really quite interesting. So about this, I think that you should, if you are able and you are interested about, think about buying it if GW maybe reprint it again, because I think that it will be reprinted another one quite soon, because this is a box that GW is sure to sell, because there are a lot of people that bought it, and there are not enough box for all the people that want it. So it's really quite amazing one. And so now we go to see what are the last things to talk about. And so this is the back of the box itself, and it lets you understand how much you can gain. So inside here there is a core book, there is the book about the missions, there are 12 of such Terminators, and it can be quite interesting, and it includes also the dead one anyway. There are 22 models of Generaptors, there is one there is this that it's the leader of the Generaptor itself. There are 3 objectives about the mission, 105 of these markets. There are 20 of such those that can be quite interesting about personalizing, 5 dice, 1 of these parts that it make you understand how it's been progressing the mission itself, and 1 hourglass. So this has been having a lot of options inside. Even if you discard one of the side of the armies and one of the parts of about all the parts that are these paper cards and so on to play with, anyway, it's really quite worth its price, and it's really quite interesting. Eventually you can have a problem if you don't play Blood Angels or so on. Okay, still as a game it's amazing. If you're interested about the part of the game, the price is anyway fantastic, because eventually you need anyway the part about the Trinide and make a substitute with another army, not Blood Angels but something else. So you have a lot of different options that are available, and I really like. Moreover, because you can see how much space can be big and how amazing are the models painted. So it's really an amazing game with amazing miniatures and amazing way to personalize in a lot of different ways. So if you're interested about, I suggest you to try eventually to find it or part of it. If you are not able about the Terminator, not worry, simply take and modify the normal ones and try to find everything else, because lately the Terminators are the most expensive part if you go to search about that you can find. The part about the game itself and the Generaptor are quite cheap compared, so these parts you can find separately without any problem, and the part about the Terminators you can use other Terminators. Don't worry about having this specific one. Eventually remember to name those ones in different ways so that you can associate to each role that is specified inside, so that it's better for you to play with it. So this is quite an amazing box.
So
From Dynamod it's everything. I invite you to put a like on this video, to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell, and to comment this video if you are interested in something about this video or you want to suggest me some arguments for other videos. I hope to see you again. To the next time.